The year is 1914. The Ottoman Empire, once a formidable power spanning 3 continents, stood as a shadow of its former self. Referred to as the sick man of Europe, it grappled with internal strife, economic woes, and the loss of vast territories.
The empire was in a state of decline, desperately seeking ways to regain its lost glory and secure its future. The empire was vast, but its weaknesses were evident. Nationalist movements simmered within its diverse population, threatening to tear it apart from the inside.
The once mighty military had fallen behind European powers, lacking modern equipment and training. The economy was in shambles, burdened by debt and inefficient administration. The Ottoman government, under the rule of Sultan Mehmed V, was caught in a precarious position.
They yearned to restore the empire to its former glory, but lacked the means to do so. Surrounded by ambitious European powers, the Ottomans knew they needed allies to survive. The empire's fate hung in the balance, mirroring the tensions brewing across Europe. The world watched as the continent edged closer to the brink of war, and the Ottoman Empire found itself caught in the crosshairs of history.
Amidst the Ottoman Empire's decline, a new force emerged on the political scene, the Young Turks. This group was not just a random collection of individuals, but a well-organized movement with a clear vision and purpose. They were driven by a deep sense of urgency and a belief that the empire could be saved from its downward spiral. This group of reform-minded military officers and intellectuals sought to revitalize the empire by replacing its absolute monarchy with a modern, constitutional government. They believed that only through radical change could the Ottoman Empire regain its former glory and compete with the rapidly advancing European powers. They seized power in 1908, promising a new era of progress and strength for the ailing empire. The revolution was swift and decisive, catching many by surprise. It marked the beginning of a tumultuous period in Ottoman history, filled with both hope and uncertainty.
At the forefront of the Young Turk movement was Enver Pasha, a charismatic and ambitious military leader. Enver was not just a figurehead, he was deeply involved in the strategic planning and execution of the movement's goals. His leadership was instrumental in rallying support and maintaining the momentum of the revolution. Enver, along with his compatriots, believed that the empire could be saved through modernization, military reform, and a strong alliance with a powerful European nation. They envisioned a future where the Ottoman Empire would stand shoulder to shoulder with the great powers of the world, its sovereignty and influence restored. They saw the looming war in Europe as both a threat and an opportunity to secure the empire's future. The Young Turks were acutely aware of the geopolitical shifts happening around them and believed that by aligning themselves with the right allies, they could turn the tide in their favor.
The Young Turks implemented a series of reforms aimed at modernizing the Ottoman state. These reforms were comprehensive, touching every aspect of Ottoman society. They sought to create a more efficient and centralized government that could better manage the empire's vast and diverse territories. They established a parliamentary system, expanded educational opportunities, and promoted secularism in an attempt to unify the empire's various ethnic and religious groups. Education was seen as a key pillar of their reform agenda, with the belief that an informed and educated populace would be better equipped to contribute to the empire's revival, and attempted to centralize the government. Centralization was crucial for maintaining control and ensuring that the reforms could be effectively implemented across the empire. However, this centralization also meant that they had to confront entrenched interests and power structures that were resistant to change. However, their efforts were often met with resistance from traditional elites and nationalist groups who felt threatened by their reforms. These groups saw the Young Turks' policies as an attack on their privileges and way of life, leading to significant internal strife and opposition.
Despite their efforts, the Young Turks' ambitions outweighed their capabilities. They were visionaries, but their vision often clashed with the harsh realities of the empire's situation. The challenges they faced were immense, and their resources were limited. The empire was still weak, and the threats it faced were mounting. External pressures from European powers and internal divisions made it increasingly difficult to achieve their goals. The Young Turks found themselves in a precarious position, trying to balance reform with survival. They needed a powerful ally to support their vision of a revitalized Ottoman Empire. This search for an ally was driven by the realization that they could not go it alone. They needed external support to bolster their military and economic capabilities. This need for an alliance would lead them down a dangerous path, ultimately entangling the empire in the deadliest conflict the world had ever seen. The decision to enter World War I would have far-reaching consequences, not just for the Young Turks, but for the entire Ottoman Empire, sealing its fate in the annals of history. As tensions escalated in Europe, the Ottoman Empire found itself caught in a dangerous game of power politics. The once mighty empire, now weakened by years of internal strife and external pressures, was struggling to maintain its sovereignty and territorial integrity. The political landscape of Europe was shifting rapidly, and the Ottomans knew they had to act swiftly to secure their future. The great powers, divided into two rival alliances, were vying for control and influence in this strategically vital region. The Central Powers, led by Germany and Austria-Hungary, were pitted against the Allied powers, which included Great Britain, France and Russia. Each side sought to expand its influence and secure strategic advantages, making the Ottoman Empire's position increasingly precarious. For the Young Turks, securing a strong alliance became paramount to safeguard the empire's future. The Young Turks, a reformist and nationalist movement, had taken control of the Ottoman government and were determined to modernize the empire and restore its former glory. They believed that aligning with a powerful ally would provide the necessary support to achieve their ambitious goals.
The Ottomans initially sought to forge closer ties with Great Britain and France, traditional rivals of their longtime enemy, Russia. They hoped that by aligning with these powerful nations, they could counterbalance the threat posed by Russia and secure their empire's future. Ottoman diplomats made several overtures to British and French officials, emphasizing the mutual benefits of a strategic alliance. However, these overtures proved unsuccessful. Despite the Ottomans' efforts, Britain and France were reluctant to commit to an alliance. The political and military calculations of the time made it difficult for the Ottomans to find a willing partner among the Allied powers. Britain and France, already aligned with Russia in the Triple Entente, were hesitant to welcome the weakened Ottoman Empire into their fold. The Triple Entente, a powerful military alliance, was focused on countering the Central Powers, and the inclusion of the Ottoman Empire was seen as a potential liability rather than an asset.
This rejection left the Ottomans feeling isolated and vulnerable. The failure to secure an alliance with Britain and France was a significant setback, and the empire's leaders were acutely aware of the growing threat from Russia. The need for a powerful ally became even more urgent as the geopolitical situation continued to deteriorate. They desperately needed a powerful ally to counter the threat posed by Russia, which had expansionist ambitions in the Ottoman territories of the Caucasus and the Balkans. The Russian Empire, with its vast military resources and strategic ambitions, posed a significant threat to the Ottoman Empire's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Their search for an alliance led them to Germany, an emerging power with its own ambitions in the east. Germany, under the leadership of Kaiser Wilhelm II, was eager to expand its influence and challenge the dominance of Britain and France. The Ottomans saw an opportunity to align with a powerful and ambitious ally that shared their strategic interests.
Germany, eager to challenge British and French dominance, saw the Ottoman Empire as a valuable strategic asset. The Ottomans' control of key geographic locations and their potential to disrupt Allied supply lines made them an attractive partner for Germany. Diplomatic negotiations between the two nations intensified as they explored the possibilities of a formal alliance. The Ottomans controlled the vital straits of the Dardanelles and the Bosporus, which linked the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. These strategic waterways were crucial for controlling naval access and trade routes, making them highly valuable to any potential ally. An alliance with the Ottomans would grant Germany access to these strategic waterways and provide a direct route to its ally, the Ottoman Empire. This partnership promised to reshape the balance of power in the region and offered the Ottomans a lifeline in their struggle for survival. In August 1914, under a veil of secrecy, the Ottoman Empire and Germany signed a secret treaty of alliance. This pact, orchestrated by Enver Pasha and other key figures in the Young Turk government, would have profound consequences for the empire in the course of World War I. The Ottoman Empire, once a dominant force, was now struggling to maintain its territories and influence. The alliance with Germany was seen as a lifeline, a chance to regain lost glory and secure its future.
The treaty stipulated that Germany would support the Ottoman Empire in case of a Russian attack and assist in its efforts to recover lost territories. This was particularly appealing to the Ottomans, who had lost significant lands in the Balkans and the Middle East. The promise of German military and logistical support was a beacon of hope for the beleaguered empire. The alliance, while seemingly beneficial on paper, carried significant risks. The Ottomans were wary of Germany's intentions and the potential backlash from other European powers. The Young Turks, who were leading the Ottoman government, were divided on the wisdom of aligning with Germany. Germany's aggressive foreign policy and militaristic ambitions made them a dangerous partner. Kaiser Wilhelm II's vision of a dominant Germany clashed with the Ottomans' desire for stability and peace. The Ottomans were entering a pact with a nation that was on a collision course with much of Europe.
By aligning themselves with Germany, the Ottoman Empire was effectively placing its fate in the hands of a nation on the brink of war. The decision was not taken lightly, and it was fraught with internal debates and external pressures. The Ottomans hoped that their alliance with Germany would deter aggression from other powers and provide them with the strength needed to reclaim their lost territories. The weeks following the signing of the treaty were marked by growing tension and uncertainty. The Ottomans were anxious about the potential repercussions of their decision. Diplomatic channels buzzed with activity as the Ottomans sought to reassure their neighbors and allies. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary on June 28, 1914, set in motion a chain of events that plunged Europe into war. The assassination was the spark that ignited the powder keg of alliances and rivalries that had been building up for years. The Ottomans watched with bated breath as the continent descended into chaos. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, and the intricate web of alliances quickly drew the great powers into the conflict. The Ottomans, though officially neutral, were acutely aware that their alliance with Germany could soon pull them into the fray. The stage was set for a global conflict that would reshape the world.
As war raged in Europe, the Ottoman Empire remained officially neutral, but its alliance with Germany had set the stage for its own entry into the conflict. The Ottomans were biding their time, waiting for the right moment to join the war. They hoped to strike when the odds were in their favor, leveraging their alliance with Germany to achieve their strategic goals. Enver Pasha, convinced that Germany would emerge victorious, saw an opportunity to restore the empire's fortunes through military victory alongside their new ally. He believed that a decisive victory in the war would not only secure the empire's borders, but also elevate its status on the world stage. The decision to enter the war would be a fateful one, with far-reaching consequences for the empire and the region as a whole. The Ottoman Empire's involvement in World War I would lead to significant territorial losses, internal strife, and ultimately the dissolution of the empire. The alliance with Germany, while initially promising, would prove to be a double-edged sword.